You know that guy that's at every party who shows up in a perfectly tailored suit and he says he's not really drinking tonight? And then 20 minutes later he's doing tequila shots off the counter? Well, that's the hub version of the VMAX Vx2 electric scooter, and that's what we're going to review today. It looks all refined and classy, but give it a second and it'll go absolutely wild. So the question is, did they craft the Swiss Army knife of our generation, or are they just drop shipping garbage from China? Well, stay tuned to find out. From the outside, the thing looks like it came straight out of a Swiss design museum. Smooth, matte black, no visible wires, display built into the handlebars, everything tight and minimal like it's allergic to fingerprints. You roll it up next to other scooters and it looks like the adult in the room. But the second you hit the throttle, it's one that will remind you it's dangerous. This is a 57-pound scooter made of pure overachievement. It's rocking a single 500-watt rear motor, but I swear it feels like there's another one hiding somewhere. On paper, that's a normal commuter scooter, but in real life, it's that one coworker who secretly bench presses 300 pounds and never brings it up. I don't know what kind of voodoo VMAX pulled here, but it punches way above its weight. Either they built a controller from scratch or they found some magic juice to blow this thing past every known law of electrical etiquette. Like, no 500-watt motor should launch like this, but someone told it would be melted down to scrap if it didn't impress me, and impress me it has. Oh yeah, and then there's beast mode. That's what they actually call it. You turn the scooter on, you push the power button 5 times in a row real quick like a cheat code in a PS2 game, and suddenly it goes from a calm, well-mannered scooter like a 9-bot, topping out at 20 miles per hour, to a street-legal rocket hitting 33 miles per hour. It doesn't feel safe to ride this thing that fast, just for the record. I want to get that out there. 33 miles per hour, and it's got a front drum brake. It does not compute. The first time I tried it, I was genuinely laughing out loud on the scooter, just to myself. Probably looked like a madman rolling down the street, but you know, when something takes off faster than you expected and you have to pretend that you meant to do that? Yeah, that was me. I was just casually sending it down the middle of the street on a tiny little scooter. And the thing is, it doesn't even look like it should be possible to do that on the scooter. It's so clean and minimal, like it's supposed to sip espresso, but it's sipping the high-octane gasoline. All right, now let's talk heat, speaking of gasoline, because yeah, that power does go somewhere. After a few throttle runs, I checked the hub motor with my infrared temp gun that I just got. I was thinking to myself, maybe I should just start up a grilled cheese business on the motor cover here. Maybe people buy that and I can buy myself a second scooter once this one fries up. The controller and the battery were totally fine, nice and chill, but the motor, yeah, that little guy was cooking. I don't know how much abuse it can actually take before it taps out, but I wouldn't plan on holding the throttle pin for really long stretches every day unless you like your scooter medium rare. Now here's the part where I've got to give it credit. The thing does ride amazing. For its size, usually scooters that look like this, especially that style of front suspension, it's usually garbage, but this one somehow makes potholes feel a little bit more optional. The first few rides were perfect for me, like smooth, floaty, luxury scooter, but the elastomeric suspension that's in the back doesn't last forever. It is actually it's meant to wear down basically. But for me, I think it wore out a little sooner than it should have. After 50 miles or so, mine was getting softer. It was still comfy, but noticeably saggy. So if you're a heavier guy, this maybe not be the scooter for you, unless you just like, going slow, maybe not bottoming it out, jumping off curbs and stuff. But VMAX, please, if you're watching this video, which I hope you are, you should make replacement elastomers in different stiffness levels, like a higher durometer for a heavier guy, It'd be really cool. And while we're here talking about comfort, I want to mention the throttle, because that's the most uncomfortable part of this thing to me. The throttle on this thing feels like it's bipolar. There's like a half a second delay when you hit it where nothing happens, and then boom, all the torque hits at once. I don't know if you've ever got towed home on a scooter from a guy driving a car, but it's kind of like when you tell them to start slow and then they just floor it because they think it's going to be funny. Yeah, and when you let off, on this scooter it's the same thing but in reverse. It doesn't stop exactly when you tell it to, it stops when it's ready a half a second later or so. You get used to it just like anything else, but for me it did take some extra getting used to because I'm so used to so many other scooters not doing that. Yeah, the first ride will definitely test your reflexes. I used to have a 50-mile minimum. You gotta ride a scooter for at least 50 miles before you get really comfortable with it and you can start sending it. But I sort of outgrew that as I tested more scooters and now I can just kind of hop on whatever one. But this was one that threw me back to my beginning scooter days. I had to really get my bearings on this thing before I feel comfortable sending it around. So I would say that 50-mile rule should stand for you. Keep it in the low mode, the eco mode for the first few rides. It only has 2 modes, by the way, the eco and then the not eco, I guess. It also does have that beast mode, tap it 5 times, you're in beast mode, and I don't think you can go out of beast mode. So you got eco or beast mode. Maybe if you factory reset the scooter through the settings in the display, you can reset it, but I pushed it 5 times in a row afterwards, and the beast mode does not turn off. It stays beast. Okay, while we're on the topic of throttles, I want to talk about the cruise control. So normally, once you've got cruise enabled on the scooter in the settings for the app, you can just hold the scooter throttle for 5 seconds and it'll lock on. And this scooter does that too. On every other scooter though, you can cancel it by tapping the throttle or tapping the brakes or just somehow sending a signal to the scooter that you're not gonna go the same speed anymore. But not on this one. The VMAX Vx2 cancels out the throttle really easily with the brakes, or with the turn signals, strangely enough, but it doesn't cancel out the cruise control when you tap the throttle. That's my go-to method for canceling out cruise. I just kind of tap the throttle a couple times, the cruise turns off, and everything's all good. But with this thing, it's just like, oh, you want to go faster? Got it. Do not rely on the throttle taps to bail you out of cruise mode on this thing. It will not. I have also blasted through 25% of the battery in 5 trips up and down this little hill. Okay, it's not turning off. It's not turning off. See, the cruise control is on. It won't turn. Okay, I'm glad I got that on film. Just had to blast through that guy's yard. You have to hold the throttle for a while and then let it off, which isn't really great in emergency situations, or use the brakes, or use the blinkers. Hey guys, it's me, Editing Ginger. I just wanted to say, while I was editing this video, between filming it and editing it, I discovered that if you ride with the turn signal on, you turn the turn signal on while you're moving, it'll actually squeeze another 3 or 4 miles per hour out of the top speed of the scooter. So fun fact, it goes faster with the turn signal on, and I cannot explain that, but it is what it is. Now, the VMAX Vx2 is supposedly Swiss designed. I know the owners are Swiss, and I don't know what that really means.
It's a Swiss design, very fast scooter. Swiss design. Swiss design.
Because
I'm very fast up in the mountains on my scooter.
Everything on it, the controller, the motor, the frame, still screams made in China.
Oh my gosh, the cruise control.
Granted, most electric scooters are made in China, but it's not like VMAX tried to even hide it. I just don't want anyone going around telling people they have a scooter from Switzerland to sound all fancy. It probably wouldn't be a huge lie if they did though, because the scooter's build quality is solid. You can tell that some actual work went into building the thing. It's got a 60 amp inline fuse, proper waterproof connectors, UL certification coming soon, according to their website, and all the nerdy electrical safety stuff that most scooters just skip. But you can tell someone actually thought about not burning your house down with this thing. But then you open it up and you start noticing some weird choices, like exposed wires, and there's a hole literally straight down into the controller, and right under that, a live connector. So you're like one brainstorm away from a science experiment there. And we've got voltage. Low voltage, but still voltage. I don't know what the connector does. I think it's for firmware programming, but it's just a strange oversight for a scooter that's otherwise so well put together. The fuse is nice, but it's an inline fuse, the blade style fuse, and in my experience, those things will melt well before the fuse pops. So I guess only time will tell on that one. And then there's the app. Oh boy. You're supposed to get navigation stats, turn-by-turn directions, route planning, and all the fancy stuff that's connected to everything else. But mine was a huge hassle to connect. I really don't think it liked my Proton email. It's all anonymous, but once I got into the app, I realized the app doesn't even list this year's scooters. I had to register my scooter, the VX2 Hub, as a VX4. Oh, I'm interrupting the video. I'm editing it right now, and I just noticed that in between me filming it and this editing job, they have actually updated the app. It's got all the different models of scooters for this year. You don't have to worry about getting stuck like me where I was confused which scooter to pick. So it's all fixed now. Good to go. Well, that's cool. It's got little arrow buttons built into the handlebars. Yeah, those big arrow keys on the bars are for selecting things in the menu of the scooter and or skipping through the turn-by-turn instructions you can get from the route map planning that it does in the app too. Yeah, they're not turn signals, but if you scoot down a little bit farther, it's got great turn signals for the record. That's a good quality button. It's so good they didn't even need to label it. That's the blinkers. Them's the navigation arrows. That's not for blinking. I like VMAX for trying to make a new style of app, but I love them for not making it necessary to use. I'm looking at you, Segway. And about that route feature, that's one of the features inside the app. You can draw a route on the map with your finger, just rough draft, and then as soon as you let your finger off and select OK, the VMAX app will turn that route into a scootable route for you with turn-by-turn instructions that it can send to the display on the scooter. It'll show you what next turn's coming up, and you can filter through the turn-by-turn instructions using the arrows. It's a really cool idea. And you can even modify the route slightly by avoiding your worst enemy, like hills. Yeah, it'll automatically avoid hills for you and stuff, just kind of like Google does, but since there's no room to mount your phone on the handlebars on this thing, it's pretty handy. I mean, you can mount your phone on the handlebars if you buy their special proprietary looking phone holder, or if you do like I did and you just mount your phone to the handlebars, like the grips, you know, the things that you hold onto to ride. But at the end of the day, unless you want the turn-by-turn instructions shouted at you through the display, you really don't even need to download the VMAX app. But it is cool, they got steps in the right direction. It's a good idea, but for now it's more like a feature demo of what VMAX could be. Once it works properly, I think it'll be killer, but please, VMAX, do not go the route of making it required for unlocking speed modes, and don't you dare hide beast mode behind the app. You gotta keep that baby raw. It would be nice if I could turn off beast mode though, that's for the record. I'm not trying to accidentally pop wheelies at stoplights every time. Oh yeah, now let's talk about that USB-C charging port. It's pretty cool. When I first saw it, I thought, oh hell yeah, finally a scooter that doubles as a power bank. I don't have to put one in my backpack or strap a little weird bag on it. You can charge your phone right from the handlebars. That's awesome, in theory. But for reality, for me though, it was like plugging my phone into my 2008 MacBook, where you get fast charging for the first 3 seconds and then it drops to basically nothing. Like at one point my phone literally said charging, 4 hours and 20 minutes remaining. Like bro, I could rub 2 sticks together and get more wattage. And to top it off, sometimes it freaks out and says there's water in the USB-C port. Unplug your phone immediately, even when it's totally bone dry, and it'll work a second later.
Every single cable. Okay.
It just seems really glitchy. But you do have to plug your phone into the scooter before you turn it on, and if it does recognize your phone, you get charging half the time, and then when it does charge, it's slow charging. So, great idea, terrible execution. It's basically the USB port equivalent of that one guy in a school group project who says he's gonna do his part, but then still ends up getting an A after having done nothing. Yeah, might have just been my scooter, maybe just a shoddy install at the factory or something, but I'm telling you from my experience, my scooter, after all that's what the video's about, or, you know, my review of my experience with the scooter, that's what happened for me. All right, let's run through the powertrain real quick. So you're getting a 48 volt, 18.2 amp hour battery with this little hub version of the VX2, so 874 watt hours total. Advertised range, 56 miles. Actual range. Yeah, no, actual range about 20 miles if you ride like a normal adult with a pulse. Sure, you could probably squeeze 50 miles out of it if you're like 120 pounds and you coast downhill in eco mode on a warm day with the wind at your back, but still, 20 miles of hard riding at those speeds is really not bad. Not bad at all for something this small, but that's still only 43 watt hours per mile, it's nothing. It's twice as efficient as the Kukirin G4 Max I reviewed a few weeks back. Granted, also half the size. And for $13.99, which is how much this scooter costs right now with the big battery, or $11.99 with the smaller one, it's not exactly cheap, but at least you can see where the money went. It's got that nice built-in display, cool app features, and it just looks refined. It's got like a refined, aggressive vibe, sort of like a matte black Tesla. It doesn't look that different, but when you dig into the accelerator a little bit, it's like a free cup of morning coffee. It'll put a smile on your face regardless of your mood beforehand. I was thinking about it, you know, if you zip past Starbucks every day on your way to work in beast mode, and you don't stop at Starbucks for coffee, I think the scooter will pay for itself eventually, right? Yeah, that's my math there. The overall build quality, anyway, it does feel really premium. There's no rattles or shakes or sketchy welds or anything that screams like AliExpress DIY version. The folding latch was tight and solid. The wiring inside looks like it was done by an actual adult, which is rare. The deck feels rigid, not hollow. It's a very solid scooter. Great job with the fit and finish. Until you get up close and start wrenching on it, I noticed a few small flaws like the blinker housings made of cheap plastic. I accidentally bumped into mine and it just cracked clean off because I could tell it was going to before I even touched it. It's the one weird thing. The whole scooter is made of really nice quality materials and then they just slap these plastic blinkers on the back. But the blinkers aren't bad when they're attached. Remember the InMotion Jet from a few months back? Yeah, those blinkers on the end of the bars? Exact same ones on the VX2. I could tell by the model number written onto the blinkers. But it's got those on the ends of the handlebars, but it also has those ones on the back too. So if you're turning, you look a lot more like the Starlink satellite than a guy on his way home from work. So it's a plus, it's a major plus. I love blinkers, good job VMAX. The brakes though, they're okay. You've got a front drum brake and a rear disc brake. I think it's 140 millimeters. And you also have the electronic regen braking that works decently, but it's kind of moody. It doesn't do much at higher speeds and then just suddenly kicks in hard when you're almost stopped. I think it's supposed to be a pressure sensitive brake, like the progressive type. but the firmware's confused or something too, though, because I think they tried to combine those two things with the fact that you can't brake too hard at high speed with the regen brake, because the amount of incoming current would probably just blow the inline fuse immediately. So they had to regulate all three of those things together, and they did an okay job, but it's a little too strong at slow speeds if you ask me. But you combine all of that with the narrow 10-inch tires, and you do get some unexpected slidage. I was sliding a lot when I was trying to actually brake. And I love sliding. It's good if you like a little drama like me, but I can understand how it wouldn't be ideal for most, so keep that in mind. But speaking of those tires, they are tubeless. It's a pretty big win there. No more fussy pinch flats that plague most skinny scooter tires, but they're also fairly slick, so if you're planning on doing carving corners and stuff in the rain, just know that this thing is not exactly Drift King. It will slip, it will slide, so be careful. You want to keep it classy, right? Just like the scooter is. But more or less, they're the same tires you get on the VMAX G30, just tubeless. So who's the scooter for? Well, it's for the person who doesn't want the biggest or baddest scooter, they want the coolest scooter. Someone who cares that the lighting is seamless, it has an automatic headlight, turns on and off by itself, the throttle feels premium aside from that delay. The display kind of looks like something Apple designed on their lunch break and then just kind of sold off to someone else. It's not about the specs on paper for this scooter, it's about like the general vibe. When you look at it, it looks like you spent money on something sophisticated, and you still have the power to gap your friend's rental scooter. So yeah, this is the move if you're into something like a sleeper, if you know what that is. Looks nondescript, really well built, and just sends it. 33 miles per hour on a scooter this small is genuinely terrifying, at least for me. Maybe I'm just too big. Above 25 miles per hour, it's fast. Above 30 miles per hour is like, you better be on your way to the hospital at 33 miles per hour because you're gonna need an ambulance pretty quick. If you're someone who constantly needs to wrench on your scooter and upgrade controllers, you love like doing DIY stuff, swapping motors, this one is gonna frustrate you because everything for me felt like proprietary. It was really well built, like tamper-proof almost. You can't even get the battery out unless you take the frame of the scooter apart. And it has a little controller that looks in-house made, and it's got epoxy poured in it, so you can't modify really anything except the wiring. If you're someone who just wants to charge it and ride it and feel like you're gliding to the city on a high-end gadget instead of a toy, then the VMAX 2 is pretty much unbeatable right now. It's very high quality, very low maintenance, just a great scooter out of the box for everybody. The only thing is not everyone can afford it, but if you can spend the extra money on it, I think it's probably the best scooter that can go this fast in this weight class for sure. Would I buy it? Probably not, just because I love wrenching on my scooters. I love DIY stuff. It rains here a lot, so I need an excuse to work on scooters when I'm home, but would I enjoy every second of riding it if I did buy it? Absolutely, because it's just one of those scooters that makes you forget logic for a second. It's like, yeah, I could have bought a faster dual motor scooter for less money, but look at this thing. It's sleek, it's fast, it's ridiculous. And when I hit beast mode, it feels like I'm on some sort of inside joke with just myself, but the world hasn't heard yet, because no one else can know that this thing can do that unless they see you doing it. But for you, when you're riding it, it's just awesome knowing that you can. So yeah, the VMAX Vx2, that's it in a nutshell. Secret weapon in a suit. It's not perfect, and it's definitely not cheap, but damn if it doesn't make me smile every single time I hit that throttle. If you got any questions about it, make sure to leave them in the comments below. I'm sure I left a lot of stuff out. This was just sort of a fun, brief review. I hope you liked it. Make sure to subscribe if you want more. We're going to be doing a lot of more ride videos soon on the Daytona, and I got a couple videos coming up on fast charging and which type of Loctite works best. I did a bunch of testing because it was raining here for a few days, but yeah, stick around if you want to watch that stuff. That's all I got for you today. Until next time, keep the rubber down and the shiny side up. Ginger on Wheels, over and out.